All right, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, excited to be talking to an individual who's going to be competing in Edmonton, Alberta on March 4th as part of Unified MMA 43, a featherweight bout broadcasting on UFC Fight Pass between Neal Anderson and Lucas Neufeld. And very happy to welcome Neal back onto the show. How's the camp and everything going, man? You getting in that consistent work with the shaved bears and little sweatshop this time?
Yeah, it's going good. It's hard, man. Training's always hard. Training camps are usually even harder. So yeah, it's going good. Just training hard, but that's what you want when you're preparing for a fight.
Yeah, it seems like there's a good group of like featherweights and lightweights over there where you're able to get in work with like similar body types, and obviously the work ethic is stellar over there too.
Yeah, we got all different body types, all different weights. Just kind of like a big group, which is like 185 up, and then there's a little group, which is about 170 and down. So yeah, we just kind of split it usually during the pro class. Big guys train with big guys, smaller guys with small guys. So yeah, it's a good diversity of sizes and styles for sure.
And I'm kind of curious just how the last time out sort of felt through the lens of the inactivity kind of period there, because a couple of years over that since you were able to get out in the cage and do your thing. How did it feel getting out there last time?
I felt good. I felt fine. When I rewatched the fight back, I think I looked pretty good. I don't think there's any sort of rustiness or anything like that. I was usually I'm pretty nervous before fights, and I didn't even feel really that nervous that fight. But I ended up losing, so maybe being nervous is a good thing. So, but it went well. I didn't really feel any ring rust.
Well, I thought it was a great effort all around. I mean, like you said, in the rigid binary of, winning and losing, it, not the ideal outcome, but it seems like you were able to, still show off a lot of skills and have some big moments throughout the fight and getting into the championship rounds there. So I'm sure there were certain lessons imparted from the whole experience, I would think.
Yeah, no, I learned, there's a lot of good lessons. Obviously a loss is a loss. Like, you won fair and square, but there's worse ways to lose, right? I think when I was in the fight, I thought it was a lot closer than it was, but when I watch it back, I think I was probably up 3 rounds and was on my way to winning the 4th, and I just got tired, made a split-second mistake, and he's a veteran, right? He knows how to capitalize on those mistakes, so he taught me a lesson that late in the fight, when you're fighting a vet like that, you can't relax. Even if you're tired, you got to stay sharp. So it's a tough lesson to learn, but you gotta take something from your loss too, right? So I feel like I've learned from that, and I'll come back better in the future.
And I'm kind of curious, too, because the last one was a relatively newer kind of foray at featherweight. Like, with this one being, in that same kind of vein there, like, how does it feel to have, like, the, subsequent effort at featherweight? Does it feel like there's, like, a bit of a learning curve where the last fight is going to inform this one to a degree in terms of preparation?
Yeah, for sure. The whole weight cut thing, I didn't know how that was going to go because I'd never... Actually, I think my very first fight way back in 2008 was at featherweight. I don't even remember, but I hadn't cut the featherweight for a long time, so I just was a little nervous about that. But yeah, now I know I can do it, and it wasn't even that big of a deal. It's hard. It's always hard. Even cutting down to 55 is hard, but I know I can do it, and I'm going to be fine. So yeah, I can take that from that fight, and this is a 3-round fight this time, so I think that's going to make a big difference too. I think if I could do that last fight over, I would have told myself to maybe pace myself a little better, especially in the 4th round. I kind of just put a lot of pressure on him, and gave up an easy takedown, and after the weight cut, and after fighting for about 20 minutes, you're tired, right? So, yeah, I mean, even you always want to pace yourself, I guess, but even when you're cutting more weight, it might be smarter to, yeah, I don't know, just kind of take the foot off the gas a little bit if you've got a lead. Because you always got to worry about the cardio and stuff, right?
Yeah, so you feel like you have a better understanding of the gas tank for this one, or is it just more so because you're more familiarized with the 3-rounders kind of thing?
Well, yeah, a little bit of both, but yeah, like you said, the main thing is it's only 3 rounds, so I won't really. Yeah, I don't know. Just 3 rounds. It's not as long as 4 or 5 rounds, right? So I can. I don't really have to worry about gassing out. I mean, I know I can go 3 rounds hard, whether it's 45 or 55. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we've talked in past before about some of that like collective momentum in the room when there's like multiple Shaved Bears fighters competing on the same card, and same case here. I mean, Unified always good with that. Like I'm noticing like Shane Campbell and KB Bhullar just as like a couple examples off the top of my head there. So can you speak to that collective momentum in the gym? Is there that real galvanizing of everybody's spirits? Is it the whole team's like heading into the big event and everything?
Yeah, for sure. We got Shane, KB, Cole, and a couple of amateur guys as well, and then me. So I think there's 6 of us on the card. So yeah, there's always lots of guys to train with. Last thing you want when you're training for a fight is to not have anyone to train with, right? So yeah, there's a lot of good competitive rounds. Some camaraderie, and it's good, man. It's good to have a good team and a lot of guys fighting on one card. Always, at least for me, it's always more fun than just being one or two guys, right?
Yeah, and I also think it's cool that the looming month also would underscore the 10-year anniversary with Unified MMA just being part of the promotion since their 11th event in March 2012 there. Can you kind of talk about the longevity with Unified and, having that decade of experience in a promotion that a lot of people now see as like one of the best, if not the very best shows in Canada?
Sorry, that's my 10-year anniversary with them, or that's their 10-year anniversary overall?
Yeah, because your debut was in March 2012 at the Unified MMA 11th event, so it would be yours.
Oh, cool. So that's 10 years then? Wow, that's, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. I've been, so I think I probably only fought for them from then. I don't know if I fought for anyone else. I know I fought for other promotions earlier, but, that's pretty sweet. Unified's awesome. They've grown a lot. Like when I first started fighting with them, they were fighting at some little, I was actually talking to Sonny about this the other day. They were just at some little banquet hall there in the south side of Edmonton, and now he's switched a few venues, but every time it got, the venues got nicer, the shows got bigger. Now it's like a pretty sick event. They're at the River Cree there, which is a wicked venue. They're on Fight Pass, so they're blowing up pretty good. So it's cool to see, and the fight cards too. Like this fight card, it's crazy, man. Like this is a pretty stacked card, so it's pretty cool to be part of it with so many like high level fighters, right? So yeah, man, it's awesome. Good for Unified.
Yeah, and just in talking about the, I guess, timeline leading into this fight here, because you were originally, supposed to fight Lucas Neufeld at a prior point, but injuries getting in the way there, and you were kind of talking about like, oh yeah, I've kind of almost known I was fighting Maged longer than I knew I was fighting Lucas there. Was there even back then, though, a level of like maybe tape study, familiarity with what Lucas brings to the table, or was that more something you ramped up leading into this upcoming fight?
I think I watched his last fight before, when I thought I was fighting him last, and then I watched it again the other night in one of his older fights. so yeah, I just got caught up with what he does. He definitely comes to fight. He's definitely not afraid to get after it. I mean, I think one of the fights, or maybe it was both his fights I watched the other night, he just sprints right to the center of the cage as soon as the bell rings and starts throwing spinning kicks and stuff. So yeah, they call him the Wild Thing. He's does some wild stuff. So I mean, when you fight a guy like that, you're pretty. I don't think it'll be a boring fight based on the way he fights and how my fights usually go. So I think the fans will be in for a pretty entertaining fight.
Yeah, it definitely has that like fight of the night kind of feel to it, jumping off the paper. I mean, and that speaks volumes considering, like you were just saying a bit ago, just the depth of the card and some of the talent they're bringing in there. So that must excite you, getting out there to compete against somebody who's going to, offer up a fight like that, or at least you can make the inference that'll be the case.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think he's a really good opponent, and it's got potential to be an exciting fight for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be an exciting one to, follow along with there and stuff like that. But you've been great with your time, man, and I appreciate you coming on and chatting a little bit ahead of this one. Just in the interest of being mindful of your schedule, though, is there anything you might want to kind of add as a parting thought as we're wrapping things up here, Neal?
Just that I'm training hard, and I'm sure Lucas is too, and on March 4th it's going to be a good fight, but I plan on winning.
Yeah, it's going to be a great featherweight fight, and if you're in the Edmonton, Alberta area on March 4th, you can check that out. But if you just want to sit at home and peep it and you're not in the immediate area for whatever reason, Unified MMA 43 on UFC Fight Pass is the move, and Neal Anderson versus Lucas Neufeld going to be bolstering that event there. And yeah, to reiterate, man, thanks for the time, and always good getting to talk to you ahead of these fights, and just enjoy the rest of your day too, man.
Sounds good, man. You too. Thanks a lot.